Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Diary of a WoT Newb with me, Dwybo. Still with a cold, I'm afraid. Here we go, the Vickers Mark II, the Tier 2 tank on the British medium line. Got through the Tier 1 boy, elited him, researched all three lines from it, and I thought I'd try this one. I've already played one battle, forgot to press the record button, and it was frankly pants. Partly because again we've got a 50% crew, except for this guy who I pressed the wrong button for. I managed to retrain him for the previous tank before I moved him across, and then retrained him for free afterwards. So that's why our loader is an enormous 60%. Luckily that only cost me 10 grand because of the half price offer, so a cheaper mistake than it might have been. So British tank, no armour to speak of. No speed either. It says 40 kmh. I don't think it will get up to that speed unless you drop it off the castle cliff at Himmelsdorf. Rate of fire is not bad, except of course we've got the 50% crew in there apart from the loader, so it's going to be more like 12-11 rounds per minute. Turret moves not too badly, but the tracks with stock tracks are just very slow to turn as well. It really isn't, it doesn't feel at all like a medium like the T28 did. It's just slow. It's like a heavy with no armour at the moment. I'm guessing it'll improve as the tracks and especially the engine get upgraded. We've got 90 up to 160. That's a lot of extra horsepower if the weight doesn't increase a lot. Anyway, let's go see. The gun we've got on them at the moment, single shot, 14 rounds a minute. Again, like we say, 11 or so realistically. Damage isn't too bad. That's, what, 2.5 shots to kill myself? And they'd all penetrate me because 45 against 8 is a no-brainer. Let's give them a go, see what happens. So we've got Malinovka, a map we've come to know and love. A tier 2 fight, I think, A13s, and we've got the tier 1s in there as well. So yet another battle this weekend flooded with British tanks. I'm sure that'll change soon as people get through the bottom tier 1s. I guess everybody's just excited at finally having the British here. So even though we're near the bottom of the list, that's not as bad as it looks, except of course we are stock, so I dare say if those light tractors are upgraded, even they will be able to kick me. So we'll steer clear of everything. I've actually bothered to equip the binoculars and camo net on this. I don't think it will make a blind bit of difference, pun not intended for the binoculars, but it seems silly not to put them in the slots if they're free, and since I'm not going to be shooting and hitting an awful lot, look at the size of that reticule, I may as well take advantage and post up somewhere. You can see what I mean about the speed. It was absolutely awful on the flat. We start to hit a bit of a downhill, we pick up nicely 40. As soon as we hit this rise, look at it go down. It's dropping, dropping, dropping. So even a slight incline, look at that, there's hardly any slope at all. And we're down to 15, 14 kmh. Turn drops it even further, look. So we desperately need to put the next engine in here. I should have free XP'd it, I suppose, but we have to see how bad some of these tanks really are before we decide whether to spend free XP on them. So we'll just work our way up the hill, which is going to take a century. So time to double tap R and let it roll. And I think we'll head for these bushes where that M2 is. In fact, before we get there, we've got an incoming on the swamp. So we'll wait for the reticule. See, did manage to hit him, and of course of all the tanks he could shoot at, he's shooting back at me. You'd have thought with me behind that bush, and with my marvellous camouflage netting, I'd have been alright there. I'm not entirely sure it was him actually. I didn't see a name come up on the damage report. Maybe I wasn't looking. I think it was that Mark II further back, which nobody had seen. So again, we'll wait a century. And, well, we've tracked him. That was flying outside the reticule. That should have been a hit as well. And enemies killing themselves. Hey, we got a kill! So that was 330 metres, but even then I couldn't see him when he was stationary, even with my marvellous binoculars. Okay, that's a yank crossing the middle. It's taken a while, so we'll lead it a bit. We didn't lead it enough. I've given him about a tank's length here, I think. No. Oh, we really aren't getting him. If he stops, we'll be alright. There's one problem I am having swapping between different tanks all the time. Is getting the gun right. They're all different. Genuinely impressed with the amount of detail that's gone into some of this. The way the guns behave differently. That's another flyer towards the edge of the reticule. As was that. Come on, crew. Sort yourselves out. Oh, somebody's hit him anyway. It wasn't me. But then we are shooting from silly ranges. Just because we can, really. Ammo's not expensive. We might get lucky. What we don't want to do is hit our own tank. So, we'll play it cautiously at that point. And, well, he took him out by ramming him. I think he did almost as much damage to himself as he did to the enemy. I don't think ramming a very light, ill-armoured tank with another very light, ill-armoured tank is a particularly good move. So we'll attack now. At least we'll try to. He's a long way away. Actually, that A13 is pretty hammered. And in fact, he's pretty dead now. So I think rather than push forward on the attack, we'll cover the first problem. We got that Panzer II's on full health, should be able to take him out no trouble. But just in case, see, they've already taken out another one. That Panzer II's just taken a shot as well, because they've got another tank at the back there. In fact, that Panzer II has completely gone, so this wasn't such a bad move on my part at all. T1's gone for a swim. Right, now remembering how bad we were shooting at range, they're going to have to count a bit more this time. So I'm going to work my way up to the barns, I think. Certainly, I haven't got enough to just go lumping straight. Oh, there's two of them in there. I'm going to have to rotate shots to keep the cap down. Unless, of course, they just drive out, which they have. Love it.
They're knocked out.
That was a lucky shot right to the top of his turret. That Mark I's going to come and get us. Or is he going to pranny around on the edge of the base? I think he's going to come and get us. They shoot too quickly compared to me and my reticule, I think. We stopped him for the once. If our guys can pack the base, there's at least two capping on the enemy side, looking at that time ago. And one of them's decided to come rushing back, even though he's miles away and he's going through some slow ground. Oh well. Perhaps if he'd thought about that half an hour ago, that would have been a good move. As it is, not so clever. And in fine traditions of my videos with first tanks, I've served you up another loss. Let's see how bad a loss it was. Well, we got Master Gunner out of it. Not sure if that means anything, but there we go. And we were fourth, which for a new stock tank with a new crew can't be too shabby. And we did more than our own hit points in damage, almost twice. And we got some base defence, so we tried, made a profit, which since we're aiming for equipment, is important at the moment. And we've got some XP to allow us to upgrade some bits and pieces. So we're going to have the tracks and the engine and stuff. So there it was, first look at the Vickers Mark II. Again, way too early to actually draw any conclusions, apart from the fact it looks funny, which will be obvious to anybody looking at it. It looks like somebody's just put tracks on a sideboard, and any moment now the butler's going to come in and serve drinks through a hatch or something. But there we go. I'm sure that by the time we've got it upgraded, and if we ever get a decent crew on it, it'll hold its own in a fight. Until then, it's just keep playing through it to the next one. So that's it from me. Ta-ra!